Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? More like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dog Shit. Or better yet, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dementia. Or better yet, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Flops. Or better yet, Indiana Jones and the Dial of I'm too fucking old for this shit. Like, seriously? I walked out of this dumbass new Indiana Jones movie without a single brain cell left in my fucking mind. I'm not fucking joking. This movie is dog shit. In fact, it's so bad that it makes Kingdom of the Crystal Skull look like the fucking Dark Knight. So this steaming pile of dog shit they call a movie features an old ass Indiana Jones who is clearly too fucking old to do anything anymore. He lives alone, he's sad and depressed, and he's ready for retirement. Sounds pretty exciting, right?
Not.
And joining Indy on his latest adventure is Helena, aka Indy's goddaughter, aka the most insufferable feminist sidekick I have ever fucking seen, played by my new least favorite actress, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who represents all the things that are wrong with modern Hollywood. And the fucking cherry on fucking top is fucking James Mangold, someone who clearly does not understand Indiana Jones. All of that Spielberg magic that was so prevalent in the older films is non-existent in this one. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was actually quite excited for this movie. Of course, I had my concerns with Harrison Ford being fucking 80 years old, and knowing that Disney was behind this, I was pretty worried that it would be super woke and super Disneyfied. But I wanted to be optimistic and go in with an open mind. And, yeah, all of my concerns became true. This was a bullshit, woke ass, bait and switch ass film where Indiana Jones gets pushed to the side in his own fucking movie so that Phoebe Waller-Bridge can shine as the basic Mary Sue strong female character as she leads the way on the stupid adventure. And of course she's super intelligent and is just good at everything because movies said so. Of course she knows more than Indiana Jones himself, and of course she berates him and disrespects him in every fucking scene. Helena is one of the most unlikable characters of all time. None of her one-liners were delivered well, her jokes were terrible, and her attitude and presence in this film was just so fucking insufferable. Indiana Jones is supposed to be the guy who leads the way. His sidekicks are usually people who don't know as much about the historical artifact they're searching for, and they are usually likable, and they usually have good chemistry with him. And being that they are not as intelligent as he is, they trust him, and they look to him as the man who will help them survive this crazy journey they have embarked on. That's not the fucking case in this piece of shit movie. When Helena comes in, it's the other way around. Indy basically becomes a sidekick in his own fucking movie. And Phoebe did not work well with Harrison on screen. They had absolutely zero chemistry together, like it was so fucking embarrassing. She also never indicates that she trusts Indy at any point in the movie. One thing she did do, though, was make jokes about how old Indy was. Yeah, ha 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 ha, so funny.
Not.
And what's worse than one insufferable sidekick? You guessed it, two insufferable sidekicks. Because that's right, folks, Indy's other sidekick is this stupid-ass preteen kid or whatever who was basically a discount short round, who, unlike short round, is extremely unlikable, very annoying, and has absolutely no purpose in this story other than to just be there for Indy to have another sidekick. Because why the fuck not? Oh yeah, and he flies a fucking plane in this movie so easily, even when the movie makes it very clear that he has never flown a fucking plane before in his life. Basic plot armor at its finest. So Indiana Jones and the Dial of Nursing Homes takes place in the late 1960s, and as I described earlier, Indy is old as fuck and he is just done with life now. He's still a professor who teaches with passion in his lectures, but his students these days give absolutely no shits about his lectures, which also pissed me off because, at this point, Indy is supposed to be an icon in this world. He went on so many adventures and retrieved so many historic artifacts. I mean, that alone should make his name remembered for the rest of time. That alone should make him famous for the rest of time. And with all of that in mind, his students should always be eager to take a class taught by Indiana Jones himself. Shit, even I would love to have him as a teacher. But unfortunately, that's not the case in this film. His students don't give a rat's ass about anything he says, and the movie makes that very clear when it shows the look on their faces when he's teaching. And keep in mind, this was never the case in the previous films. Also, this is the last lecture he gives before retiring, so on his last day as a teacher, his students showed him no love or appreciation for what he's done for them. So this depressing ass beginning leads me to the introduction of Phoebe Waller-Bitch, as she too was a student in Indy's class, and she is also the only student who cares about what he teaches, which is probably the only good thing about her character, but the fact that she acts like an insufferable know-it-all defeats the purpose, and after this scene, she persuades him to go after the Dial of Destiny. So what is the Dial of Destiny? Well, I'll tell you, my good friend. It's a bullshit time travel device that was created by some dude named Archimedes in like the fucking BC times, I guess. How did he create such an advanced device in a time when absolutely no technology existed? No fucking clue.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
As expected, some bad guys are after the dial as well, as this group of Nazi supporters, led by Mads Mikkelsen, chase after Indy and Phoebe Waller-Bitch the entire time, and what's unfortunate is that Mads Mikkelsen is a great actor who was totally wasted in this movie. Anyways, Mads Mikkelsen, as I said earlier, plays a Nazi who wants to use the dial to go back in time to the year 1939 so that he can kill Hitler and replace him as the leader of the Nazis, as he hopes to fix his mistakes and help the Nazis prevail as the ultimate superpower of the world for the rest of time. But one thing he does not know is that the dial opens a portal only to the year 200 BC or some shit, because the dude who created it wanted it to be used in the future so that people can return to his time with better technology and aid him and his army in an ongoing war he has been fighting. And that's it. So basically, the villain's plan, everything he has worked for his whole life, is pointless. What the fuck was he expecting? A device that opens a portal to any time? Why didn't he just do more research on it before chasing after it? This is such a shame because Mads Mikkelsen is so good at playing a villain, and this movie turns him into one of the dumbest, most incompetent villains of all time. So in the end, Mads Mikkelsen forces Indy to open the portal to go back in time to 1939. So like, they basically fly a plane through the portal, and as expected, they end up in the BC times instead. Indy and Helena escape the plane and search for Archimedes on the battlefield, and meanwhile, Mads Mikkelsen is just like, holy shit, I fucked up. So like, he sees this ancient battle taking place in, obviously fucking 200 BC or whatever, and in this moment, he realizes that his goal was pointless, and before he can abandon the mission, he crashes and dies. And that's it. Literally the lamest Indiana Jones villain death in the entire fucking franchise. Meanwhile, Indiana Jones and Phoebe Waller-Bitch meet Archimedes, and Indy decides that he wants to stay in this time period for some dumbass fucking reason, and this brings me to the worst part of the entire fucking film. Listen to this, guys, because this is the climax of the movie, and it is so fucking bad. Helena punches Indiana Jones in the face and easily knocks him out. One punch from her small-ass hand was enough to knock out Indiana Jones like it was fucking nothing. What the fuck?
You serious?
So anyways, Indy returns to the present-day time period, and Marion, the love interest from the first film, shows up to this boring-ass fucking small-ass apartment that he lives in. Why? Because fan service, that's why. This movie is so fucking garbage. It's an unnecessary sequel that no one asked for, with a pointless plot and boring action sequences, as well as shitty writing, unlikable characters, and terrible acting, mostly from Phoebe Waller-Bitch. Harrison Ford and Mads Mikkelsen were good in it, but they were not enough to save this disaster of a film. Also, lots of people claim that the first 20 minutes showing a de-aged younger version of Indy on his earlier adventures was cool, but I thought that sequence was pretty bad too. The CGI that was used to make Indy's face look younger was just awful. He looked like a fucking video game character. I'll admit though, there were a few minor things I sort of liked about the film. The ancient battle sequence involving Archimedes in the end of the film was pretty fucking cool, and even though Harrison Ford didn't look that great in his fight scenes and certain action sequences, it was still kind of cool to see an actor that old going ham. Harrison Ford is a fucking badass, and I just wish he had gotten a better script for this movie because he does not deserve this Disney ass trash. Anyways, do not watch this fucking movie. Just rewatch the first 3 indie movies instead. Those are timeless classics, and honestly, the series should have just ended after the 3rd one. Don't get me wrong though, the 4th one is not terrible, but it's certainly not a great film, and it's safe to say that the 5th film is a fucking disgrace to the Indiana Jones franchise. It should never have been made. The plot was so unengaging, and I just did not give any fucking shits about the goal they were trying to accomplish because it means nothing to the series as a whole. It's safe to say, I was pretty fucking bored the entire fucking time. Oh yeah, and this movie is 2.5 hours, and because of how boring it is, it felt like 3.5 fucking hours. I'm gonna give Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dogshit a 2 out of 10. As always, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe for more movie reviews.